Cork, a second teenager. Third hearing likely as jury fails to reach verdict in PROINSIAS de Rossa's libel action. US and Russian presidents meet in Helsinki ahead of tough talks on the future of NATO. Super Quinn joins in battle for takeover of Quinsworth and crazy prices. And the drugs crisis on the streets with the Gardaí as they track the dealers. Good evening. PROINSIAS de Rossa's libel action against the Sunday Independent now looks set for a third hearing in the High Court after the jury failed to agree a verdict today. The 9 women and 3 men spent 9 hours deliberating but couldn't reach a minimum majority decision on the 3 questions they had to answer. Afterwards, Mr de Rossa said he was disappointed, while independent newspapers said they were pleased there had been no finding that Eamon Dunphy's article libelled PROINSIAS de Rossa.
Mr Justice Moriarty had said this was not a black and white case, and on that at least the jury in this libel action between PROINSIAS de Rossa and independent newspapers was agreed. They took a single sheet of paper with 3 questions into the jury room, and after several hours they unanimously agreed that the words in the Eamon Dunphy article did not mean that PROINSIAS de Rossa personally supported anti-Semitism and violent communist oppression. They failed to reach agreement even by a 9-3 majority on whether those words meant PROINSIAS de Rossa was involved in or tolerated serious crime. And that was the key question in this 14-day-long trial. Issues of damages and malice could not be answered. A third trial of this action now appears likely, and this possibility meant both sides chose their words carefully when they faced the media shortly after the jury had been discharged.
We're obviously very pleased that there's been no finding by the jury that Eamon Dunphy's article libelled PROINSIAS de Rossa. Clearly, in their being discharged, there must have been substantial debate and substantial disagreement within the jury.
I feel very grateful for the commitment and thoroughness of the jury to listening to the arguments in the case. They are remarkable people.
PROINSIAS de Rossa jokingly wondered if there was a general election afoot when he gave his short statement.
I'm obviously regret that the jury has not managed to reach a conclusion on the issues put before them. Nevertheless, I am very pleased that in the course of this case, the Sunday Independent made it clear that they do not consider me to be a criminal in any sense, or indeed that I tolerate crime in any sense or in any way. I also want to say that it is my intention to insist and to ensure that this matter is brought to a conclusion.
The jury was clearly disappointed that after 9 hours' hard work they had failed to reach an agreement. They came close with what's believed to have been an 8-4 split on the key issue, but it wasn't enough to declare a winner. The issue of costs for this trial, which now run to several £100,000, will be discussed tomorrow, but it's likely that both sides will have to pay their own way.
Well, our political editor Donal Kelly joins us now from Leinster House. Good evening, Donal. Has there been any political reaction to today's developments?
Well, Eileen, as you might expect among the coalition parties, and for a variety of reasons, I suppose, there's a sharing of Mr de Rossa's disappointment that the case has not been finally put to bed. The Taoiseach heard about the outcome in America and he phoned the Democratic left leader within hours. Mr Bruton said later he had expressed his regret that the issues in the case had not been resolved. And he went on to describe PROINSIAS de Rossa as a man of great self-possession who he said understood the difficulty of what he had undertaken. Now, it goes without saying, I suppose, that Democratic left are still in something of a shock. It was something of a coincidence that they had a 5th birthday party tonight. They might have anticipated champagne celebrations. Instead, the atmosphere, to say the least, was somewhat subdued.
Well, Donal, do you think that a possible third hearing now could affect the timing of the general election?
Well, I don't believe it will have any effect on the calling of a general election. There is a growing body of opinion here who believe the date will be set for some time from the middle to the end of May. And that is gaining an almost unstoppable momentum. However, it must be said that in talking to a journalist in America tonight, the Taoiseach said that no date had been fixed and people shouldn't expect an early decision. The fact that the ROSSA case is still outstanding, however, is unlikely to detract from the bigger picture when the coalition leaders sit down to decide on an election date. The belief is, I think, that since all the issues in the case have been aired extensively over 2 court hearings, they simply won't impact on the coming campaign. And anyway, it could well be that the election would be out of the way before the case gets to court again, if it's going to court again, because some legal sources believe tonight that if it's to go to court, that might not happen until the autumn.
OK, Donal Kelly, thank you for that. To Finland next, where the American